One fine day in the jungle, a lonely box of peas fell from somewhere and landed on the ground. A curious little spider spotted it and thought, "Ooh, treasure." She scurried over and tried to open it, so she grabbed a pebble and whacked it. Nothing. She frowned, muttered something about cheap packaging, and fetched a bigger rock. Thud. Still nothing. Now she was mad. She brought an entire collection of rocks. Big ones, small ones, emotional support ones, and launched a full-scale attack. After hours of effort, the spider spotted a massive boulder and dropped it on the box. Nope, not even a dent. By now she was sweating. Do spiders sweat? And yelled, "Fine, gravity, do your thing." She shoved the box off a cliff. It tumbled down dramatically and landed softly on a pile of leaves. Still closed, defeated but not broken, she dragged the stubborn box all the way to the road, panting like she'd just run a marathon. "Let's see you survive this," she said, placing it right in the middle of the road. A car came flying by and squished the box flat. Peas exploded everywhere, so in the end, the peas got pureed, the spider got pancaked. One day, a little black ant was carrying an olive from the dining table. When she reached near a flower pot, she made a tiny sound, and suddenly, a small hole opened in the pot. All the ants went inside, carrying the olive with them. They were storing their food for later. Once everyone entered, the hole closed again. But a group of red ants had seen everything. They hid behind the pot, waiting for a chance to steal the food. As they tried to sneak closer, one black ant guarding the pot spotted them. She quickly began dragging the flower pot away to safety, and the red ants followed her. The black ants carried the pot into another room and locked the door behind them. The red ants didn't give up. They even scared away a nearby cat and found another way to reach the black ant's pot. But when they finally got there, they found only one olive left. Furious, the red ants realized the black ants had already taken the rest of the olives away, safely hidden in a shoe. In a dense jungle, heavy rain was pouring down. To protect itself from the rain, a spider was sitting inside a small hole, but the cold was intense, and the spider began to shiver. After the rain finally stopped, the spider came out and climbed back onto its web, hoping an insect would get trapped because it was extremely hungry. Soon, a fly flew into the web and got stuck. As the spider rushed to catch it, the spider suddenly sneezed due to a cold and fell down from the web. Struggling but determined, the spider climbed back up again. This time, just as it was about to grab the fly, it sneezed once more. The web started shaking up and down, almost like it was made of rubber. The spider grabbed onto a small stone to steady itself, but the stone was lifted into the air along with the spider by the bouncing web. When the spider fell back down, the stone dropped right onto it. In the end, as the spider tried one last time to reach the fly managed to free itself from the web and escaped. The spider was left behind, cold, injured, and still hungry. It hit like and subscribe for more videos. One day, a tiny bug showed up at a trash can where a bunch of flies were living. He started teasing them like, "Hey, catch me if you can." Naturally, the flies got annoyed and flew after him. But the moment the bug reached his own territory, the flies slammed on their tiny fly brakes. "Nope, absolutely not. We're not going in there," they said, trembling like chihuahuas in winter. So they turned around and headed back to their trash can home. As soon as they reached the can, they froze. Standing right there was a massive, bodybuilder-sized bug staring at them like, "Sup?" Then that giant bug started chasing them instead. The flies panicked so hard that half of them probably forgot how to fly straight. But things got worse. The giant bug suddenly climbed on top of a cow like it was a royal throne and yelled for his buddies. Immediately, a whole squad of giant bugs dropped whatever they were doing, gym, cooking, bug yoga, everything, and gathered like it was a Bug Avengers meeting. All of them together charged after the poor flies. The flies were freaking out so much their wings were practically vibrating in Morse code for help. Suddenly, the flies realized it was all a dream. When the little bug teased them again in real life, they didn't chase him. Nope, they ran straight back to their trash can and slammed the lid shut like, "Not today, not again. Door is closed. We're done." The spider, the fly, and the magic cane. Once upon a time, in a beautiful garden full of flowers, there lived a little spider. when suddenly, buzz buzz, a fly zoomed in. The spider's eyes lit up. Lunchtime, she thought, and whoosh, she jumped down to catch the fly. But the sneaky fly was too fast. It zipped away and accidentally flew straight into a weird shiny cane lying on the ground. The spider chased after it and jumped in too. Poof! Both of them popped out the other end. Right in the middle of a busy road. It turns out that the cane was a teleportation cane. The fly buzzed off again, and the spider chased her straight back into the cane. This time, whoosh, they ended up floating in outer space. The fly was having fun. I'm flying among the stars. But the spider was like, no web, no gravity, new. Still, the spider wouldn't give up. She jumped back into the cane after the fly, and zap, they popped out again, right into a swimming pool. The fly easily flew away, laughing. The poor spider? She floated in the middle of the pool, stuck in the magic cane, yelling. It was a lazy summer afternoon. One little bug was peacefully napping on a sunflower, soaking in the warmth. Nearby, another bug was sleeping out in the open, curled up on a melting ice cream cone under the blue sky. Everything was calm, until a loud noise suddenly broke the silence. Both bugs woke up, annoyed. The source of the noise? A tiny insect, loudly singing his heart out. The sunflower bug, irritated, buzzed away and found a quiet pipe to sleep inside. As soon as he dozed off, he began to dream he was in the snowy mountains. But just as he was getting comfortable, the singing insect found his way into the pipe and started singing again. The bug woke up, even more frustrated. He flew off to a new spot, determined to find peace. But guess what? The singer followed him, again and again. Wherever the poor bug tried to sleep, the little performer would show up and sing loudly. Eventually, night fell. The singing bug finally went to sleep and dreamed that he was on stage at a big concert, with thousands cheering for his songs. But then, surprise, the original bug appeared and started singing horribly loud, ruining the dream. Now it was the singing bug's turn to be annoyed. The tables had turned. The once sleepy bug was now out for revenge, chasing the little singer all over the place. They both got tired from all the running around, and finally fell asleep. But just when peace returned, a grasshopper showed up and ruined their nap all over again. One day, a group of ants entered a house. They climbed up and made their way through the wash basin, eventually reaching the kitchen. They were there to get food. There were some sweets and bananas placed on the counter. The ants quickly picked up the sweets and began heading back. But just as the last ant was about to leave with a piece of sweet, she noticed the bananas. She immediately dropped the sweet and went toward the bananas instead. She tried her best to pull one, but it was way too heavy for her. While the other ants had already reached the stairs, this one was still struggling. Suddenly, the banana slipped and got stuck in the sink. The ant gave up on that one and went for a second banana. But this one fell straight into the machine. She went for a third one. This time it fell down and rolled away. The fourth banana also fell and got spoiled. Finally, the fifth banana dropped but didn't break. The ant managed to grab it and started climbing the stairs. But just then, the banana slipped from her grip and fell down the stairs, breaking apart. Determined, the ant went back for more bananas, but by then all the bananas were gone. In the end, she had no choice but to settle for the sweet after all. Ant revenge. Cherry blossom in a beautiful flower garden. There was a pile of peas. An ant had been collecting them because a pecan had fallen nearby, and she was building a big mountain of peas. After stacking them, the ant went back to bring more peas. But a sneaky fly was secretly watching her. The fly took one pea from the mountain, and the whole pile collapsed. The ant came back, saw the mess, and felt really sad that all her hard work was ruined, while the fly laughed quietly. And still, the ant didn't give up. She started rebuilding the mountain again. But when she left to fetch more peas, the fly returned and pulled out another pea, breaking the pile again. Pouting face this time, the ant got angry and walked away, while the fly kept watching her with a wicked smile. Lady Beetle suddenly, the ant's friend, a bug, appeared. He dropped peas from the can right on top of the fly, burying her under the pile. The ant was happy, gave one pea to her bug friend as a thank you gift, and the bug walked away. Meanwhile, the fly was stuck under the mountain of peas, getting exactly what she deserved. One fine morning, a happy little snail slid out of his cozy shell house. He was humming to himself, moving slowly but proudly across some big rocks like a tiny adventurer on a grand journey. Life was good, but then, dun dun dun, a black bug appeared from the bushes. He was crawling fast, straight toward the snail like he was late for an insect meeting. The snail heard the creepy little footsteps behind him and froze. His eyes widened. Oh no! Something's coming for me. And in pure snail style, slow but dramatic, he pulled himself back into his shell. The black bug zoomed right past him without even noticing. After a moment, the snail peeked out, realized he was safe, and continued his journey like nothing happened. Soon, both of them reached a road. The bug, being a cautious little guy, looked left and right like a professional traffic officer. Cars are scary, he muttered, before bravely starting to cross. Halfway across, honk, car appeared out of nowhere. The black bug panicked, screamed like a cartoon character, and sprinted back to the sidewalk, heart pounding. The snail, meanwhile, finally arrived. He didn't even look both ways. Nope, he just started crossing the road at his super snail speed, totally chill like he owned the place. The bug watched in horror. Dude, what are you doing? You'll be snail pancake in 3 seconds. A car came speeding down the road. The bug squeezed his eyes shut. He couldn't bear to watch. But when he opened them, the snail was fine. He had somehow made it to the other side, completely unharmed. Maybe cars respect the grind of a confident snail. The snail looked back proudly, wiggled his tiny eye stalks, and gave the bug a look like, see? Easy. But the poor bug was still shaking, terrified to cross. Cars zoomed by again and again. Both stared at each other, stuck on opposite sides of the road, like a sad slow-motion love story. Then the snail did something heroic. He turned around, slid back across the road, again, reached the bug, and said in his squeaky voice, "Hop on, buddy. I got you." The bug hesitated, then climbed onto the snail's shell like it was a taxi ride from heaven. Together, they slowly crossed the road, cars honking, drivers confused, but the duo unstoppable. When they finally made it, the bug shouted, "We did it!" From that day, the black bug and the snail became best friends. In a jungle, there was a beautiful garden filled with yellow flowers, and in that garden lived a colony of bees. One cool morning, a gentle breeze was blowing, and all the bees flew out of their hive together. It was a lovely sight to see. They buzzed around happily, landing on the blooming flowers to collect nectar. But one little bee was late leaving the hive. When she finally arrived at the garden, she found that every flower she went to was already covered with other bees. No matter where she went, she couldn't find a single flower to collect nectar from. Feeling disappointed, the bee noticed a newspaper lying in a dustbin nearby. On it, she saw an advertisement. After reading it, she got an idea. She decided to leave the garden and fly toward the city. Following the signboards along the way, she finally reached the city and flew through the busy streets until she found a flower shop. The shop was full of all kinds of beautiful flowers. Seeing them, the little bee was overjoyed. She began collecting nectar from every different flower in the shop. When she was done, she flew back home to the hive. All the other bees were surprised to see her return with so much nectar. The clever bee smiled, went inside the hive, and finally took a peaceful rest.